And you know the other thing that they don't tell you about electric vehicles or hybrid electric vehicles?
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. It's almost Christmas, and what do the Liberals want to do? Well, spend more of your money, of course.
And who is asking you to do that?
Captain Dumpster Fire himself, Steven Guilbeault.
Nothing like the first cup of dumpster juice in the morning.
Let's take a look.
The last time you paid only $10 to drive 400 kilometers. That's the advantage of choosing a zero-emission vehicle. There's a whole new clean electricity world coming, and zero-emission vehicles are a big part of it. Today, we're introducing regulated sales targets for new light-duty vehicles. The goal? To support Canada's plan to ensure that all new light-duty passenger vehicle sales are zero-emission vehicle by 2035. This is a win for Canada in so many ways. Cleaner air, healthier communities, and huge savings in both fuel and maintenance costs for drivers over the lifetime of their vehicles. And Canadians are getting on board. Across Canada already, 1 in 8 of every new vehicle sold today is either fully electric or a plug-in hybrid. Our plan will help increase the supply and reduce the wait time to buy or lease zero-emission vehicles in all parts of the country. And new investments in auto plants, battery plants, and mines for critical minerals are breathing life into our communities with new, well-paying jobs. With the help of provinces and the private sector, we're building a vast network of charging stations from coast to coast. That means you will never be far when it comes time to recharge. Reaching our goal of ensuring all new car sales are electric by 2035 also tackles one of the biggest sources of pollution in our country, fueling the climate crisis. So this is also helping to fight the wildfires, the droughts, and the floods caused by climate change, while it also cuts down on the smog, which hurts the health of our families. It's why the world is driving toward a cleaner future, and we're making sure Canada remains in the driver's seat.
Wow. Okay, there was so many things wrong in there.
Well, the first thing that I noticed wrong was how shaky the camera was, and like all these weird jump cuts with the weird slidey transitions. Literally, it's making me nauseous just watching that video, and it's not just Guilbeault.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible car sale video. Anyway, so where do we start with that? Well, here's the thing. So we purchased a plug-in hybrid about 3 years ago. And, you know, his claim, it's so misleading because he's trying to make it seem like, oh, it's cheaper if you have a plug-in hybrid or a pure plug-in electric vehicle. Here's the problem. He says over the lifetime of the vehicle. Well, how long is that? How long is that? And here's the other thing. You have cash-strapped Canadians so badly. How are they supposed to afford a new vehicle right now? Like, we purchased one before everything hit the fan, before hyperinflation and all of this stuff. We couldn't buy a new vehicle now.
No, absolutely not. And the thing, so it's my vehicle because I don't commute. I'm at home, right? You guys know that. So it's for me to run errands around town. I don't really go further than that in this particular vehicle. So for me, just being able to, you know, run some errands on the battery, it's fine. It does what I need it to do. And then I charge it overnight and it's fine. But we noticed our power bill went up, obviously, and it's about $3 per day that I have it plugged in. And it gets about 60 kilometers. And the thing is, it only gets 60 in the summer. In the winter, it's cut in half.
Yeah, it drops down to like 30 kilometers on a charge. And they don't tell you that.
No, they don't, because the battery's cold.
Right.
And it's Canada. So if this little plug-in hybrid is going to drop in half, what's a fully electric vehicle going to do?
Right. And here's the other thing. He says, oh, you know, you're going to save so much money. We have not even come close to saving the money that we would have spent in gas had we not bought a new car, because we bought the new the new plug-in hybrid. Like, we are years away from making up that savings.
Well, and the technology's not there either. I mean, again, it works for me because I'm just around town, getting groceries, picking up our son from school, bringing the pets to the vet. Just everyday errands that are close to home. If I had to commute every day, it wouldn't get me to and from the place that I used to work before I became a stay-at-home mom. It doesn't get me to and from my parents' house when we go to visit them. So it's really impractical unless you're doing everything right where you are, which I think goes to the 15-minute cities that the Liberals want to institute.
Well, and here's the other problem. So the only way it is practical to save money on gas when you have a plug-in hybrid is if you live in the city. But what are the Liberals preaching to do if you live in the city? Use mass transit. So what do you want?
But not only mass transit, they want mass housing. Like, they want you to live in an apartment or a condo building, like a multi-family unit.
Right, with no parking available.
And no charging stations available.
And, I love that they're saying, oh, well, we're building all of these charging stations. No, you're not. Tesla is. On their dime, might I add. They're the ones partnering with other businesses to actually put charging stations on their property.
Hydro One is building a network called Ivy, and I believe it's going to be coast to coast. But they're way far away from having it so it's practical, you know what I mean?
Well, and they're also way behind Tesla. Tesla's been doing this for like a decade now. So, this is classic Liberal crap where they take credit for other people already doing the work. And they're saying, oh, well, we're doing it just because we're in government, we're in charge right now. We get to claim credit for everything that everybody is doing.
But not only that, the infrastructure is not there. How are you going to get, 150, let's say, charging stations in a condo building that's been there for 20 plus years?
Yeah, and then have everybody plug it in.
And where do you think this energy is going to come from?
Well, apparently not nuclear plants. They don't have it right now. Imagine if, in order to do this, okay, so only new cars are sold by 2035 as electric vehicles. We can't supply that. You have towns around the country that are having brownouts and blackouts as it is because the power infrastructure isn't there. What is that going to look like in 12 years? That's going to look far worse. So there are so many things wrong with what he said. And the other thing he says, oh, well, we're going to have mines in Canada. You guys have yet to approve a new mine. What are you talking about? And the mines that you're actually allowing to be built, you're selling that land to China. So what are you talking about, 𝘠𝘨? This is the problem. They have all of these pie in the sky terms, and they think they're just going to legislate their way to zero emissions. Meanwhile, Canadians can't afford it. So you know what's going to happen in 2035? Assuming you idiots are still around, Canadians are just going to not buy new cars. They're going to buy used gas cars until you start outlawing that. Then what are you going to do when Canadians can't afford to buy anything because you've outlawed everything? This is where they're going, folks. So, anyway.
Why does the government want to control what type of car you are allowed to own? This is because they have no concept of property rights. This should scare everybody.
So if they can regulate how and where you go, like what else is there? And they're already trying to regulate the internet. They're trying to regulate the information that you get. They're trying to regulate the information that you see. They're trying to regulate the news. They're trying to cause all the social media platforms to pay for it, meaning that charge is going to come and hit you at some point. You better believe that.
And the other thing that they don't tell you about electric vehicles or hybrid electric vehicles? They can spontaneously combust. I received a recall notice for my vehicle that said the car can spontaneously combust. We don't know what's causing it. We don't have a fix for it right now.
Just FYI.
Just be careful.
Right? And Fox's model isn't the only model or manufacturer whose battery does this. So the technology is still very, very early. And they're just pushing this stuff out. It's not ready. In order to avoid all of that, let's go over here, because this is what you all need to sign if you haven't signed it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the petition that the Conservatives have sponsored, which is a vote of non-confidence. And it's already reached over 370,000 signatures, as you can see at the time of this recording. And there's 3 days left. So if you have not signed this, sign the petition. You click here. You enter in your information. I'm a citizen. I acknowledge. I wish. Well, don't click this one. And
Unless you want to.
And then you hit sign. And then you will be sent an email to the email address you put in here. So make sure it's real. And then you will be asked to click on it. And then that completes your signature of the petition. This is a non-binding petition. So meaning just because you're signing it, just because, even if we get 400,000 people to sign it by Christmas Eve, it doesn't force anything. However, this is a very important document. Why is that? Because when Parliament sits in February, when the Christmas break is over, this is going to be something you will watch either Pierre or Michelle wave around Parliament, and they'll be looking at the NDP saying, almost 400,000 Canadians are done with this government. They are done. And that might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back to convince the NDP that now is the time for a vote of non-confidence and to bring this Liberal government down.